Hello everyone, welcome to my nature diaries. Today I am going to be doing something a little different, some more mixed media ideas here with these specimen cards. And I kind of got this idea from the junk journaling community. I watch their videos sometimes. I don't junk journal, but I like the idea of interactive mixed media elements, and I have done another video on that you can catch as well. And I thought it would be so cool when I saw these specimen cards to add these to one of my layouts, or maybe a lot of my layouts. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be actually making this style that has just 3 sides to it with a little slot that you see right there. When collecting specimens for your journal, you can choose from different things like these seeds and leaves. Of course, they're nice and easy to use. And I just took a few of these out actually and went ahead and put those in a specimen card. You could also do feathers and anything that you can find. And these seeds are actually from this gumball, which I'm going to be showcasing in my layout. When you're doing any kind of plant material, whether it's green or dried, you do want to first dry it, press it, and then to make it last a little longer, I am Mod Podging both sides of the plant material because I'm not going to be putting it in between plastic like a laminate. You can do that, and maybe you wouldn't need to do this step, but I just feel like it's just so easy and simple to just put a coat or 2 on there. I'm going to be just using some simple mixed media paper, and I like this because it can handle some of the materials that I'll be putting on it when I go to decorate it later. And as I go to use this, I'm going to be just figuring out my layout for this, and I'm going to use this side layout. I want to make a big rectangle and cut it as a strip that you'll see here, and I'm placing my leaf, which is what I'm going to be using, and I want to make sure as I'm just kind of winging this by sight, and just make sure you have enough space when you cut it for a border so you will have room to be able to get your specimen in there, and also to trim it up later. But I'll also cut this down just a little bit, which I did here. Once you get the size that you want, in this case I'm going to fold this in half, and I wanted to use this technique because I feel like it's just going to be a little bit easier for people to do, as I tried both of techniques with this. And this is the 3-sided specimen card is what I'm going to be making here. And I'm measuring this off just to kind of make it equal on all 3 sides. But what I like about this particular technique, it's just faster and it's so much easier to cut out instead of trying to take an X-Acto knife and cut out a square rectangle in the center. So you can do it the other way if you want, but I just thought this was quick and easy, and it really kind of does the same thing, especially once the specimen card is in the pocket. But you can see how fast this is, and 3 cuts and you're done. And don't forget to save that little extra piece too for other specimens that are smaller. I'm just checking to make sure again that that's going to fit and work before I do any other steps, and once you know that, you can go on. I'm just using this sheet protector for my plastic. I already have it, it's cheap, and I can take advantage of the fold that's already there. And this way I only have to cut one long piece, and it's going to be even because I'm making only just simple cuts. I'm not having to cut too much. And I'm just cutting alongside there and then trimming off, being careful not to cut that one side that's still attached. And then of course, just going ahead and opening that up, I'm just going to double check again to make sure that's all gonna fit and work out well. And once you have that figured out, then you can go ahead with your next step, which is gluing. I tried regular glue, but this tape runner works great. This is Scotch Permanent tape runner, and it was repositionable. So in other words, it dries permanent, but while it's still sticky or wet, kind of, it's not really wet, but tacky, I should say, you can pick the plastic up or whatever it is that you are trying to glue, and you can reposition it. And that really helped me because it did take me quite a few tries to get this positioned correctly, but once I got it, yeah, it was totally fine. So I would definitely suggest getting a permanent tape runner that is repositionable. When putting the plastic in there, you want to make sure it's a little bit loose so you're able to fold that plastic over well. Just a little tip to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. So now that everything is all situated, I'm going to weight down this card, and I'm going to take the same tape runner and just basically put some tape down, some glue. And when I'm doing that, I'm just trying to get the general area, and then I'll go back in, as you can see here, once it's in, and then I can move those weights off here and eventually. And then I'm just going to go back in and make sure that all the corners and edges are glued down as easily as I can. And that's the great thing too about the Mod Podge, is it does really help make your plant material a little bit sturdier, so you can work around with it. But gluing it all down helps it to, I think, preserve this whole specimen even longer. I highly suggest using a brand name tape runner, because I made some of these with some generic tape runner and it just did not hold as well as this Scotch did. So you're going to want to check it to make sure everything sticks together after a couple days. But I was really pleased with how this turned out. And then just taking my cutting board, I'm just going to clean up all the edges to this. That's why you want to make sure you give yourself a little bit extra. Make sure you have enough to be able to trim off that plastic that overlapped or was sticking out, or just anything that didn't look good. It just really cleans it up for you in the end. Now I'm going to take a corner punch and just round off those corners, and I feel like that just helps too with the longevity of the specimen card too. For the decoration, I don't want to go crazy. In the junk journaling world, they really embellish theirs, which looks great, but because I want to showcase the specimen, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. And I bought this little distress ink kit, and I thought I'm just going to try it out. So over some wax paper, which is a great thing to use on your desk to keep it nice, I'm just spreading the ink out in two different wood brown tones, and I wanted to make like this wood grain effect. And you could probably do the same thing with watercolors, and then I'm using this Tombow marker for the inside edges, just easier to get to that, and then a little bit of water to blend that out. But you could probably use the markers for this as well. Just let your imagination go with you on how you want to decorate it. Now we're going to make the pocket that we are going to insert the specimen card in, and to do that you just want to work on your layout, make sure it's all the way you want, and then you're going to take a rectangle shape again, and I just use the specimen card that I have as a gauge for it, and I realize this is way too deep, so I'll just trim this down. And it's really just kind of a visual thing that I do. I don't have any kind of master plan. I made the specimen cards around the size of the actual specimen that I have, but I drew this out for you, this little template that you could just stop the video if you wanted to see what that looked like. And it's really simple, but really it's just to start with that rectangle. And even for that little circle I have there, half circle, I used a little roll of washi tape to trace that out there. And then you're just cutting off really these little extra pieces, so when you go to fold it, you're not going to have all that extra stuff, extra paper, so it'll make your pocket much more easier to use. You're creating tabs basically. You saw there I had the same distress inks, and I already went ahead and just decorated that one up, and then it's all folded, and we're going to just go ahead and tape that in. And then all we need to do is put this right into our layout, however you want to, or wherever you would like to locate it, and make sure that everything fits and there's no glue or anything that is going to make your specimen card stick to it. And this worked out super well, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And as you can see, I'm putting another one. These are seeds to this. Isn't this crazy? These are the seeds to this tree, and this tree can get up to 100 feet tall. I'm like so overwhelmed. That's one of the reasons I just love to nature journal. I find out the most amazing, crazy information about the nature and the world around us. It's so important to mark all of your specimen cards. You don't want to just leave them blank, because if for some reason they become detached from your journal, you'll know where to be able to put them by writing what the item is, or in your specimen card. So that was super important for me. And plus, it gives you space on the card to write as many things as you want. And I love that idea of being able to journal even more information on these cards. If you're still with me, please consider subscribing and being a part of this nature diary, nature journaling experience. And I appreciate your likes, comments, and shares. They mean so much to me. And I really hope you're inspired to do something like this, to make this interactive nature journal. How cool is this? I mean, I'm really liking it, and I'm definitely going to be doing this more. Well, as always, just remember that you are so amazing and creative. And until next time, bye.